Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I want to come on here and talk about the whole Bobbi Brown, Nick Gordon situation. As of Friday, it has been announced that a Fulton County judge ruled that Nick Gordon is legally responsible for Bobbi Kristina's death after the defendant failed to appear in court Friday.
In a Fulton County courtroom, a judge has ruled that Nick Gordon is responsible for Bobbi Kristina Brown's death after he failed to appear in court.
Brown, the daughter of the late Whitney Houston, and singer Bobbi Brown died in August of 2015. Now, her death came several months after being found unresponsive in a bathtub at her home in Roswell. Gordon was her longtime partner. Jennifer Leslie was in the courtroom today for the judge's ruling.
Nick Gordon sealed his fate by missing a critical court date today. He used to have a lawyer, but apparently decided to represent himself, and it did not go well for him.
He's ignorant, he's arrogant. He thinks he's above the law.
Bobbi Kristina Brown's aunt was angry when she saw this empty seat in the courtroom, and she wasn't the only one. Fulton County Superior Court Judge T. Jackson Bedford said he gave Gordon several chances to be part of the process and defend himself.
It's absolutely reprehensible that he stumped his nose at the court.
Gordon refused to answer questions in this wrongful death civil suit filed on behalf of Brown's estate and joined by her father, Bobbi Brown. His attorney expected that Gordon would be a no-show.
He's shown that his behavior throughout this case to just not care about what's happening here, what happened to Bobbi Kristina Brown, and what the court has ordered.
Gordon tried to use the threat of criminal charges to avoid answering questions in the suit, but the court didn't buy it, and no criminal charges have been filed since Brown was found unresponsive in a bathtub in her Roswell home last February. She died months later in August.
Bobbi Kristina Brown deserved him to answer for what he did. She deserved him to be present. She lost her life. And for him to simply say, I'm not going to participate, I'm going to ignore it, it's really, really beyond the pale. And I'm glad the judge did what he did.
The only thing left to decide is how much Gordon will have to pay. A jury will decide the damages portion of this case later this year, with or without Nick Gordon. Jennifer Leslie, 11 Alive News.
So basically, he was found guilty by default, only because he didn't show up. So Bobbi Brown is now speaking out about this, and this is what Bobbi Brown told People magazine. Bobbi Brown says, I'm pleased with the outcome of today's court proceedings. All I ever wanted was answers relating to who and what caused my daughter's death. Today's judgment tells me it was Nick Gordon. Now I need to process all the emotions I have and lean on God to get me and my family through this. So, a lot of folks wanted me to talk about this situation. So right now, a jury is going to determine the amount of damages to be awarded to Brown's conservator. The lawsuit stated that they were looking for $50 million in damages. Now, first of all, Nick Gordon don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So good luck to Bobbi Brown in trying to get that $50 million. I doubt it's going to happen. Now, my thing is this, okay? First of all, if you're innocent, come hell or high water, you're going to go to court, you're going to fight that. So I feel like Nick Gordon should have definitely came to court. But I also feel like Nick Gordon himself is a drug addict and he's gone through a lot of things, and that's probably why he didn't show up. To me, this lawsuit proves nothing. It's not like they had all types of evidence and forensics and, people coming out and witnesses. All it was basically a legal default win. Nick Gordon doesn't show up, you automatically win because he wasn't there to state his side of the story. To me, Bobbi Brown and their family shouldn't be so quick to celebrate. At the end of the day, I don't understand what happened to Bobbi Kristina. Hell, I don't even understand what the hell happened to Whitney Houston. And I still find it creepy that both mother and daughter drowned in the bathtub and Nick happened to be there at both scenes. But with that being said, I find it funny that they took this to civil court as opposed to criminal court. So it doesn't prove that Nick was at fault beyond a reasonable doubt. All this was basically a technicality. And in my personal opinion, I don't really feel like he murdered Bobbi Kristina. I feel like he was an enabler. And I feel like the family's just looking for somebody to blame. He's never going to be able to pay that judgment, like I said before. And let's keep it 100. Bobbi Kristina was a drug addict. And she chose to still get high despite seeing the fact that her mother died from the same issues. I feel bad for the Brown family. And I understand that they want somebody to blame. And I understand that Bobbi Brown is suffering because he lost his ex-wife and now he lost his daughter. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like Nick Gordon is solely to blame for Bobbi Kristina's death. I feel like he may have been an enabler. They may have gotten into it, things like that. I don't think that he's the one who necessarily killed her. Then the day I feel like everybody felt Bobbi Kristina. You know, a lot of this started when Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown were doing drugs around her. And because they were high around her all the time, I remember watching the show being Bobby Brown, and they would just be tweaking and acting crazy. And this little girl who's like, you know, what, 10, 11, 12 years old at the time is watching all of this. And she's looking at this as just normal behavior.
That's a pretty dress, Christy. Pretty wedding dress. I'm gonna have you so hooked up in your wedding.
I want to get married at 20. How old were you when you got married? I'll be right back.
I need to go to the back.
I need to, huh?
Go to get my glasses.
Before you go, do you like these on me? I think these are tight, but they get down.
They work for me. They work for me.
Baby, come on, Whitney. You would be from North.
Whitney, I'm from North.
What's the highway we right there?
280.
You from North.
Jersey.
You from North.
So if Bobby Brown wants to blame somebody, he technically needs to look in the mirror, because him and his ex-wife basically showed this young girl that this was an okay lifestyle and that there were no consequences to this lifestyle. You know, if these same people are really concerned, not just Bobby Brown, but Pat Houston, you know, instead of putting her on a reality TV show a month after her mother died, they would have put her in rehab. They would have got her counseling. People saw that she was on a downward spiral, but everybody else was too busy worrying about Whitney's estate and the money to really care about the mental or physical health of Bobbi Kristina.
Previously on the Houstons on Her Own.
This is the first time that any family member has come to the gravesite.
It's not easy looking down at that ground and knowing that that woman that gave birth to you is gone.
It really bothers me that people have Chrissy and I's relationship so screwed up.
I'm in love with him. It was never anything that these people are saying that is incest. None of that. You guys can take my word for it.
So once again, I feel like the Brown family are just looking for somebody to place the blame on. You know, and for me personally, I don't think they should be so quick to celebrate. Him not showing up really doesn't prove anything to me, besides the fact that he's lazy and he just didn't want to be bothered. But at the end of the day, they're not going to get this money from Nick Gordon. It's going to be like getting blood from a turnip. And again, I feel like some of the blame goes on the Brown family because they allowed this foolishness to go on to the point where this girl ended up losing her life. So anyways, y'all, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire crazy situation with Nick Gordon being found financially responsible for Bobbi Kristina's death. Do you feel like Nick Gordon is to blame? Or do you feel like the Brown family is basically looking for a scapegoat and that's why they sued Nick Gordon as opposed to taking this to a criminal trial? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey, you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.